once again, this creepy mess returns yet again. Still smells. Hey everyone, Joe here from Action, and welcome back to our Doom Patrol Season 4 episode reviews. Even though this isn't the last season that we're aware of, considering everything that's going on over at DC with our new Lord and Saviors, with James Gunn at the helm, but he's more along the lines of trying to streamline everything, trying to make everything like a new beginning. I don't know if Doom Patrol is going to last to Season 5. I really don't know. I'm just going to enjoy the ride. We got 12 episodes. Well, after this one, 11. I haven't watched the second episode yet, which is because they put both episodes of the season up right now. But I think it'll be a fun one. I think already kicking back off into the world of Doom Patrol after more than a year away again. It feels like every season feels like a little bit longer than the last. And again, these seasons are so crazy and monotonous. And I'm like, you know what? Take your time. Take your time. It's gonna be a fun, entertaining ride anywhere. Let take the time that you need. Because with the season 4 premiere, it definitely felt like that soft rebootish nature that I was predicting. Oh God, at last, oh my God, season 3 was so long ago. It was like, oh my God, I'm just feeling old because again, season 3 came out when things were kind of like stabilizing with COVID. So like that just felt like such a long moon ago, and it felt so weird. Since we've been away, they confirmed that Doom Patrol spinoff. Remember the one they were gonna do with the teens, the detective solvers. Then now that's gonna be like a standalone thing, and I'm like, I don't know why. I heard it was picked up, but with everything going on with DC, I'm like, is that even a show anymore? I really don't know. I don't care. If that show does get picked up, we will do a review series for that, just for the sake of it's all connected type of ordeal. But yeah. So anyway, back to the season 4 premiere. I thought this was very fun. Definitely trying to set up a new status quo, considering the fact this is meant to kind of, last season was to bridge away from Cauldron and everything he was setting up with the Doom Patrol, and now with everything they have with Madame Rouge or Madame Roger, whatever they want to call her right now, this kind of feels like the next step of like, this is their next proper chapter. You know, Niles is gone. Every influence he had is kind of like, you know, I'm assuming the place is still paid for, so like, you know, they still got free board and everything, but other than that, like, it's still very much, you know, they're no longer confided by what he's setting up for them, or like what I try to vision for them. They're doing their own thing now, and that kind of was the theme for me going into this episode, where like I didn't once feel Niles is present throughout any of this. Like, we got the little recap, of course, obviously this has been more than a year, but other than that, like, we literally didn't get anything. Like, it was just, yeah, Niles happened. I say that like it's like a bad thing. Like, Niles was such an important part of the show. Obviously, they can't afford Timothy Dalton every episode anymore. So I'm like, yeah, we gotta save the budget. We gotta cut him out. Plus, it's all about the natural evolution of things. Where, yeah, they don't need Niles always babying them around. There's only so much they can say. Fuck Niles Cauldron. There's always so many times. I will imagine he will return at some form in the future. But for now, with this premiere, I was very satisfied for the direction they're trying to go with. It's the Doom Patrol nature of like, it feels not coherent. It doesn't feel like a normal storyline, but now having done me reviewing 2 seasons, having watched also 3 seasons of the show, I feel like, yeah, this is just perfectly online with what they're doing. And, you know, there's going to be so many twists and turns, and now they're involving time travel, which, you know, it could get murky, and they did that last season, and it seems like this is going to be even more, like, up to 11 with that one, but oh man. But let's go for the Butcher recap and talk about the premiere of Season 4 of Doom Patrol. So begin, it's been three or so months since Season 3. The Doom Patrol is a team now. They're a team of superheroes that goes around time to go help out people. Not doing like any like end of the world stuff, but just going around, just trying to save the day. Kind of like similar to what Niles originally wanted them to be, but now they're actually doing it. We're getting a little bit of updates since it's been a few months away with the team. Rita's the leader, officially known as Elasti Woman. I know there's a bit of like a weird thing with Disney and everything because of the whole DC right. So I'm not sure if it is Elastic Woman or anything, but I think that is her, Elastic Woman. She's trying to lead the team, but she's not really the best team leader on the planet. She kind of is very scripted, very over controlling, overbearing, and the when we saw the group shot, like the team, like actually like going in to fight the villain, which is it's a big penis dude. Which before you say anything, he just has a robotic penis, like it's a gun that looks like a robotic penis. And they keep shooting at it, which I'm like, this is only Doom Patrol can get away with this. Only Doom Patrol. But it's clear as day that Rita is just not the best leader. Not everyone, like, they just have no choice because no one wants to step up to be leader, and Rita's the only one that's inclined to do the job. So I'm like, okay, let her be leader. But it's not like they chose her to be leader. It was like, oh, you're leader. Okay, that's fine. But it's not something that they're fully on board for. It's like, okay, someone's got to lead this shit. Jane is not Jane. It's the weird therapist, psychologist persona that's in charge right now. Jane is somewhere in the underground, but she's in charge. She's kind of like just watching everyone, surveilling, like examining them under a microscope, trying to, like, you know, create these notes and everything. Kind of trying to be the new Niles in a different way. Cliff is no longer confided to the time machine. Vic and his dad found a way to put him back in the robot man body without the Parkinson's problem anymore. But it's a slow rebuild, considering the fact it's not the same body before, so it's a bit different, which is great. So right now at this moment he just doesn't have his right hand. So and he sometimes freezes up again like he did before everything happened with the whole Parkinson's thing. So he sometimes freezes in himself. His cursing is returned, which I'm like, yes. I missed you, Cliff. I missed you. Also, by the way, before we continue, shout out to Brendan Fraser, man, who's had such a comeback since Doom Patrol on season 3 came out. Because, like, literally, like, 2022 has been Brendan's year. He's been in cons, he's been in actual movies, he's on a new TV show with Tom Welling. The man is back on track. Like, he's getting there. And I went to New York Comic Con. I didn't get to go meet him. He was there, but my friend got to go meet him, and he said he was just such the nicest dude. Very respectful, very humble and everything, which I'm like, yes, thank you. Like, you know, good things happen to good people, and it was really shitty what happened to him. Like, I thought about this before in earlier reviews, but yeah, shout out to him for coming back. Shout out to him, like, you know, this is his comeback story. But, you know, it all started with Doom Patrol, with him cursing and saying all sorts of profanity while in a robotic suit. Well, not really in the robotic suit, but you know what I mean. Vic is also no longer Cyborg, as we mentioned before. He's just kind of the IT guy of the group, no longer in the action zone. And he kind of misses it, you know. After so many seasons of complaining about being a Cyborg, being this half robot, half man, you know, now that he's on the other side of it, he kind of misses that old stuff. He misses being Cyborg. And he kind of, you know, he's now missing the old days. He's missing the days where he was in the action. Now he's just sitting on the sidelines. I forgot his name. Negative Man. Matt Boner's character. I forgot the freaking first name of his there. It's been so long, so I'm like, I will remember by next episode review. But yeah, Negative Man. He's still kicking. He has the new Negative Spirit, the baby, his new son inside of him. It's still early days since, you know, he's still developing the ability. So it's basically his only point is just to keep him alive. That's basically it right now. He's not really participating that much in the fight. He's just keeping him safe. Somehow. And as for Madame Roger, she's only involved in the team as part of her recompense against Rita, since after everything that happened with them last season with the whole past storyline, she's only on the team in hopes that maybe Rita will forgive her for all of her transgressions when they were together in the past with part of the Sisterhood of Dada. But so far, they're not making any progress. Rita still hates her guts. She's only allowing her to be on the team because she needs actual people with powers. Because right now you have Vic, who has no powers. You have Robot Man, who can barely move. Jane is in the therapist mode, so she's not really a combative person. She's the only one with physical superpowers. So I'm like, okay, I got no choice. I need a physical person on my team. So I'm like, okay, we're going with her, regardless of the situation between them. And they're working through it. And I believe, yeah, so yeah, they're trying to make this work. Also the whole, whenever they're in the time travel thing, it's always mentioned that, when they travel through time, they forget their memories of the recent events. So they would have to start writing things down on their arm. Apparently they found a solution to the problem where I don't even know how they figured this out. It's not one of those Doom Patrol explanation where, like, you accept it and you move on. You just learn to live with it. Apparently, if you put a jellyfish on top of your head, it apparently makes you remember everything. So the whole amnesia thing is gone. So I'm like, you're telling me I don't even know how it works, but I'm like, you know what? Let it be. C'est la vie. Let it work. Yeah. So they somehow take out the robot boner, let's call him. I don't know what else to call him. I know they didn't even give him a name. I'm just gonna call him Robot Boner. No one on the team really tries to fight him. They're just trying, like, they're not the most organized team. These guys need to go to UA high school and learn some things about being heroes, because like they're failing at the rescue. They really are not coordinating that well as a team. And yeah, it literally, I could bring my friends and we could probably like maybe have a better time fighting this dude, because it's literally just a guy with a robot penis. I'll also shout out to the fact that Rita, in her elastic form, literally just grabbed the penis and she like moved it, which I'm like, I don't know if that was just trying to satisfy some fans, and I swear to God, someone's gonna use that scene for evil. I very much know that. Smart Jane was the one who took him down with some, intellectual bullshit. I don't know how. It managed to work. He surrenders, and they technically call it a win, which I'm like, caused a lot of property damage. Y'all didn't really do shit. Yeah, but yeah, like, okay, you saved the day. Yippee. It's so weird. Like, this is just exactly how I expected the Doom Patrol to work, but when you actually see it in action, I'm like, I can't take these guys seriously. I really can't. But yeah, they head back to the present. Rita's trying to steer the ship as best she can. But it's clear as day as like, yeah, everyone is like, just kind of trying to do their own thing, and they don't mind doing the superhero thing because they don't really got anything else going on. So once they're back in the house, Madame Roger and part of her pendants, she's looking at people that she's wronged before, people she's kind of just accidentally marked as weapon when she was in her last position of power. But she's finding out most of them are just non-existent anymore, meaning that she did her job too well. And she's not really getting the opportunity to like really atone for her sins. I think the other thing that I've noticed at this point is that, Vic and his dad are on better terms. They're actually working on fixing up more of Robot Man's parts. And they seem to be bonding pretty well. It's just, Vic is now more open to him and just expressing that, I miss being Cyborg. I miss actually being there, being like a contribution to the team. And, Vic's dad, who's a little bit more mellowed out now, he's like, yeah, it's going to take a while for you to like return back to just being human after being a superhero, like for, so long. And, eventually you'll get used to it. Will that actually happen? I really don't know. They call in the team downstairs to welcome Robotman with his new arm, with a new improvement, even though it's the exact same prop as before. The addition is that they added nanites to the glove, to the hand, that over time, it will actually get to feel things. So he can actually touch stuff and feel what they're supposed to feel. And he's excited about it because like that means, he can actually like feel his grandbaby, he can feel his daughter again. He can actually have a little bit of a semblance of an older life again, and that excites him. However, he, as much as they want to do some testing on the hand first, he's like, no, my grandbaby's gonna be the first thing I touch. And before to make sure that that exactly happens, he puts like an oven mitt on, which still technically counts as touching the mitt itself, if you want to be technical about it. But yeah. So he wants to go to Florida to go meet his kid right now and get it over with. They want to take the time machine, and Rita's like, we're not doing that. Like, the time machine's only for superhero business only. It is not an Uber, a time traveling Uber. But they're like, oh, come on, it's been a few months. They want to have some fun. Let's just go to Florida for like a day trip. Like, just have a little fun. We all deserve it, don't we? And she's like, fine, we'll do it. Before they leave, Madame Roger pulls aside Rita and tells her, like, she thinks it's best for the team that maybe once they finish this little Florida trip that she resigns from the team and, kind of just goes about her way, because it's as clear as day as Rita's never going to really forgive her anytime soon, and she's kind of thinking of her as a nuisance in the house, which I'm like, dude, be a nuisance. This entire house is filled with nuisances, and no one really likes each other. Like, no offense, I'm pretty sure they have some commodity for each other, but like, they tolerate each other. She's tolerating you as best she can. Stay there. It's free board. It's probably free food. You're an immortal being. Why fuck up a good thing? I apologize for my language, but this is the show we're watching, so deal with it. Rita's like, I wish you leave. So I'm like, yeah, there's probably some good places nearby that you could still stay local with the team while just not living here. Indicated like, yeah, she doesn't really give a shit about her right now. So they fire up the machine. They're heading out to Florida. Initially with the expectation that they're going to go 5 minutes further into the future. That trajectory doesn't really work out because, well, first of all, they notice, weirdly enough, they're in the time stream traveling to the future, and they find if anyone remembers the season 3 premiere where the actress that Rita hated from season 2, who fell into the freaking time hole in season 3, she shows back up again. She's just stuck in the time vortex, just like the time stream, just like streaming along, which I'm like, I don't even want to know how that feels. I don't even want to know how she's surviving. Is the stream giving her nourishment and everything, or is this just like a repeating loop of like, she's never really aging, she's not really dying, she's just floating. They don't bother to save her. They just keep on going, which I don't even think they can even open the door during the stream. So I'm like, okay. However, when they arrive on the other side of the time stream, they're not in Florida. They're not anywhere 5 minutes into the future. They're 20 years into the future. Well, imply 20 years into the future. Where it's all apocalyptic. They're in the same town, but it's all in ruins, all in despair. They're looking around. They're seeing signs. Apparently some sort of apocalypse happened. So they have no other choice. They go back to the house where it's not complete wreck, but it's more fortified than normal. There's a weird trap in there. They get trapped inside. They find a future version of Vic wearing some sort of cybernetic gear. He's not cyborg, but he's just wearing some attachments that would make him cyborg again. And yeah, so it's been 20 years into the future. Apparently the butt-pocalypse happened. I kid you not. The butt-pocalypse happened. Did I imagine in 25 years of watching shows, movies, and everything, now reviewing shows for almost 4 years now, more than 4 years. Actually, no, yeah, more than 3 years. 4 years next year. If you were to tell me that I would say butt-pocalypse, I would not believe you. I would be like, what the fuck kind of shit are they? Like, they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel to say butt-pocalypse. It's a thing. It happened apparently. The butt monsters from season 3. Remember those guys? One survived. That specific one got infected with zombieism. So it spread. I don't know what the implication is. I guess it bites people and they turn into butts. I guess that's the implication. So yeah, that happened. So yeah, so it's been 20 years. Vic's the only alive member of the team, and yeah, that's kind of how they're living. But however, everyone else is still alive in the house as ghosts. Everyone goes up to go to meet their future dead counterparts, if that makes any sense. Except Madame Roger, who in the future she followed through on her promise. She moved out of the house, and they never saw her again because that was around the time the apocalypse happened. They couldn't really keep good track of her, so they just assumed like, okay, she's just either dead or she's still alive, kicking somehow. So everyone meets with their future selves. We get brief updates on what the heck happened in their futures. Future Rita accepted the fact she was a bad leader. She was never meant to be a leader, and that this entire thing was a sham, just for another attempt for Rita to get some sort of purpose in life. But this wasn't it. Vic, not Vic. Vic, and we'll get back to Vic and Future Cyborg in a second. Smart Jane meets up with Future Smart Jane, and she's admitting that like, yeah, so us taking over as the main persona didn't really have the effects that we were hoping for. We spent way too much time focusing on everything going on outside that we forgot to focus on Kay. Kay died, so there is no more Kay. It's just us now. And, she's just trying to explain to her that we focused way too much on Kay. No, we focused way too much on the outside world. We need to focus on Kay again. Robot Man, or Cliff, goes to talk to his future self, who's also dead, which I'm like, how do you kill a robot again? We'll get to more about that in a minute, but spoilers, he gets his brain cracked open, and they eat the brain, which I'm like, that is, how much brain creepy stuff do I have to go for with DC this week? I just reviewed the Stargirl finale. They had some creepy brain stuff in there. And I'm just thinking to myself, I think DC has like, some sort of attraction to brains. I don't know if I should be alarmed or not. I can't drink with this thing on, I just remembered. Oh well, I have to wait to the end of the episode review. Yeah, but he also breaks the news like, you never got to touch your grandson. Our daughter's dead. They're all dead. You know, we died not never knowing the real sense of touch, which I'm like, that's very dark, as always with this show. And lastly, Negative Man goes to meet his future self, who's kind of like in fetal position. He's not really being responsive. He said that the son, the negative son, is not part of him anymore. He heads outside a little bit. He sees the grown-up version of him. The baby one comes out. They communicate somehow to a weird effect. The baby goes back into Negative Man, but it's not 100% okay anymore. But we'll get to more about that towards the end of the episode. Madame Roger is looking for some news clippings, some findings that Future Cyborg was compiling. Apparently, the last known sighting of her was that she is now an elected politician. The last time they heard of her, and that she was trying to make some peace term with the Butts, which I'm like, the Butts are sentient? That's weird. She also goes downstairs to the basement and realizes that Cyborg was trying to build a time machine of his own. That didn't really work. Vic comes out. That was, for some reason, tied up and everything. So apparently Future Cyborg was apparently using them to track them to the house so that he could take the time machine for his own. We get a mini flashback of 45 minutes ago where Future Vic was trying to like, okay, we know they're here. Do we attempt to give them an opportunity to like explain them the situation? What did we do wrong and what they can fix? But they all laugh. They know like our past selves, they can hear everything we have to say. They won't give a shit. They're not going to do shit for us. So yeah, we're basically it's up to us to actually, go back in time and like fix this shit ourselves. Vic runs into his future self about to jump into the time ship. He's explaining to him what's going on. And, he's just like, yeah, you guys just never learn. You guys are never going to figure out what really went wrong. You guys are never going to admit your mistakes because that's just how it is. And the world's all fucking doomed because of you. The others show up. They're just trying to like, hear out like, what did you guys do wrong? Maybe we can change. Maybe we can, make a difference and everything. He doesn't get a chance to explain because the Butts show up. The same Butts as before, just more zombie-like. They fight them off as best as they could, but it's clear as day they are not going to win this fight. Thankfully, with enough distraction, everyone gets back on the ship except for Future Vic. They get in. Future Vic just accepts his fate, is about to die, but he leaves a party message for our Vic saying that you can't have everything. I think that's just an indication of like, you can't be human, but you also cannot be cyborg. So I'm like, something's going to give eventually. They return back to the present with all the knowledge they learn. The smart Jane, the therapist one, returns back to the underground where she finds the R Jane, who's been hiding out in Kay's memories because she just wants to take a break from the whole main persona type deal. But now everything that she learned in the future is like, she's like, I'm going to take over. But before we get to an answer with therapist Jane, Kay shows back up, killing her presumably, and just telling her like, get away from me. I don't want you to follow me. She throws Jane back into the main consciousness, but she wakes up with a bag with puzzle pieces. For the weirdest reason, I really don't know. I can't really be that descriptive with you. So yeah, I think afterwards we head back to, So the last thing I remember was Negative Man talks to the baby spirit again. It's inclined to leave or just head off away from him, indicated like something happened during that conversation with his future self. Victor reaches out to an old friend. I don't know what that is indicated about. I guess the next episode is going to explain that even better. Cliff is just more determined than ever to like make sure he does touch his grandbaby somehow before he supposedly dies. So he's going to make that happen. Rita officially gives up being the leader. She puts away the leader costume back in her little private cubby. However, before she's able to like fully accept it, Madame Roger shows back up, explains to her like, yeah, with everything we saw in the future, I don't think it's smart for me to leave the house right now. I think it's best for me to stay. And Rita's like, well, that's just great. What else can go wrong? And we cut to this weird darkened room somewhere in the middle of the universe. Who the freaking knows? And we see the return of the one, the only Mark Shepard, a.k.a. Kipling, a.k.a. not Crowley. Who is in some weird night gear. I don't even want to get into it. I don't even want to know what's going on. He's responding to his leader, which is a bunny or a rabbit. It could be both. I really don't know what's going on anymore. Apparently, they're just getting a notification about the prophecy about the butts. That yes, the world is fucked. The butts are coming. But another thing is also coming. Immortus. What the hell is Immortus? Who the hell is Immortus? I really don't know. I'm going to reach out to George after this episode to ask him, who the fuck is Immortus and what purpose does he have with the Doom Patrol universe? Because that was the end of the episode with Kipling saying, if this is all true, we are all fucked. Which, yes, we are all fucked. And that was the end of the premiere episode of Doom Patrol. For me, again, yeah, like I said before, this definitely is just Doom Patrol style premiere where it's like, it is confusing as hell. It's all over the place. Does it make sense right now? It does not, absolutely, because there's so many puzzle pieces missing, ironically, that we need to figure out. Where did the butt zombie come from? How does Immortus fit into all this? What other crazy shenanigans are they going to get into? What mistakes they're going to obviously make? There's so many questions, and obviously when we go further in the season, we will find out more answers. It's always the nature of, like, we're just so dumbfounded right now. Like, this is everything they're throwing at us now. Let's solve it the best we can. But in actuality, we ain't going to find out shit till later. But overall, I think this was a great premiere. They definitely had a lot of great setup. Trying to set up this new status quo for the team. Being an actual team. How does this all turn out? I really don't know. I'm just enjoying the ride right now. But you know, I can't wait to see what other crazy shenanigans they can get into this season, because I'm excited. You know, it's always fun just to sit down, just watch something that makes completely no sense at the start, but it'll make a lot of sense in the future. I love those types of shows. But for me, for right now, I'm giving this premiere episode 2 thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this week's episode of Doom Patrol? Let's start the conversation down below. And I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the 2 from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the 4th season of Doom Patrol. If you want to know what we're doing normally in What's the 2, besides our Doom Patrol episode reviews, I think tomorrow or in 2 days from now, we're going to do the DC Stargirl Season 3 review, non-spoilers. So if you haven't watched the 3rd season of Stargirl, you can go check it out right now. All the episode reviews are live. Season review later this week. But if you don't care about Doom Patrol, you're lucky. Either tomorrow or the next day, we're going to be doing episode 2's review, and then later this week, we're going to be doing the episode 3 review. My camera went off. I'm not sure if that means the camera died or... I don't know what happened. That is a very bad angle on me. I'm just looking at the camera feed. I'm not sure. I think the camera just died. I will just cut this part out. Yep, the battery's dead, so I'm just going to wrap it up here perfectly. But again, if you're unaware, this has been What's the 2 from Action. Please subscribe to us on youtube.com/ActionX videos. Ring that bell for notification when our next episode reviews live. Like, favorite, share if you want to, and as well as, please, follow us on social media to stay up to date with any sort of updates we may have for either of our channels. But until we see each other again, for all you members of the Fan Patrol out there, welcome back. I missed you all so much. Let's enjoy the season off. But until then, stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.